like 170, like 155. I like them all. Even like the 145-pound champion Volkanovski, I could, that would be a nice one at some stage.
It's pretty easy for me in saying Conor McGregor, because he was in featherweight. You've got to remember the champions. I've beat every other champion in the featherweight division. The only champ I haven't fought in the featherweight division is Conor McGregor.
Both Conor McGregor and Alexander Volkanovski have said that they want to fight each other seemingly after their next fight. So Conor first has to fight Michael Chandler and Volkanovski first has to fight Yair Rodriguez, and they both expressed their desire to have a win over each other. It's interesting because both these guys don't normally call out a specific fighter, but it seems like Conor's really interested in that pound for pound number one status from Volk. I mean, John Jones is technically in the pound for pound number one, but most people still look at Volkanovski as it. And Volk looks at Conor McGregor not only for the money fight. Of course, the biggest thing about Conor is getting the money from it, but Volk is chasing something even more with a Conor McGregor matchup. He wants to beat every single featherweight champion in history. If he beats Yair Rodriguez, and he beats Conor McGregor, he has successfully beaten every single featherweight champion, and honestly, that accomplishment is something nobody else ever did. Not even Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo was the first featherweight champion, he was a long reigning one, but he did have the opportunity to fight other fighters who did become champion, and he lost to them, specifically against Max Holloway in that rematch. He tried to make his way back up, but then eventually went down to the 135-pound division. As for Volkanovski, he would pull that off. The only fighter that ever did that was Amanda Nunes at bantamweight. No other fighter has ever beaten every single champion in their weight class's history, and to do it from the featherweight division is insane because it's one of the most stacked. And here I was thinking, what else is next for Volk? Because he is the big favorite going into the Yair fight. He gets past him. I was always thinking, what's next? What makes sense for Volk other than just defending his title? And here pops up Conor, and it makes a lot of sense for Volk's legacy because right now it looks like that's what he's chasing more than anything. He tried the double champ thing, very close fight, but he lost, and Conor also had to dig that in there. Oh yeah, you went up to lightweight and you lost. I did that. But the thing that Volk has over Conor is the guy has wins in 4 different weight classes. He has a win in middleweight, he has a win at welterweight, lightweight, and featherweight. Being 5'6", it's even more impressive. But the thing is, if these two do fight each other afterward, what weight class would it be? Conor's saying that Volk's scared because he wants to fight him at a specific weight class, which tells me that Conor can't make lightweight or featherweight to fight Volk, and he just wants Volk to fight him at a walk-around. Conor's obviously going to be heavier than Volk, so doing a weight class honestly makes sense, but Volk seemed to have responded with, we could do middleweight, welterweight, lightweight, or featherweight, it don't matter. I fought in all of those weight classes, and that is gangster. Now, firstly, I do have to say that I do favor Volk to beat Yair Rodriguez, even though Yair is a very dangerous matchup for him, but overall, Volk has all the tools to dismantle Yair. And as for Conor McGregor, he should be able to beat Michael Chandler if Michael fights the way he's always been fighting. Chandler has the skills to absolutely destroy Conor, but we can't bring him out of his own personality. He fights a certain way. Even with the tools that he has to beat Conor, he's probably going to throw himself into the fire and get countered by the left hand, trying to make a big show out of the fight and then just gets knocked out for it. Conor's at his best when he's countering you, and he's much better against orthodox, heavy right-handed fighters. And Michael Chandler is the paradigm of that style. After that, in 2024, we do have a big chance to see Conor McGregor fight Alexander Volkanovski, and Alexander Volkanovski is getting these big money fights. Now, who do I think would win this? Honestly, the weight class is going to change a lot. In the lightweight division, I favor Volk, but the heavier you go, you have to increase Conor's chances with it. Because Conor's like walking around at 190 right now, and Volk is probably walking around close to 180. The thing is, Volk is just so much more technical. He's a good boxer, he has amazing leg kicks which absolutely disrupt Conor's flow. Mixing the takedowns with the leg kicks is also going to be big for Volkanovski. The only thing that he has to watch out for is lunging in there with the right hand, kind of how he did against Islam, and sometimes the way he did against Max Holloway as well. Because those two guys are able to counter him, Islam actually hurt him a few times. And if Islam is pulling back, getting on the outside of your right, and counter you with the left straight, and Islam is also a southpaw fighter like Conor McGregor is, you can only imagine what Conor would do in that scenario. If Volk does that, at any given point of the fight, he can get knocked out. We've seen him get hurt so many times in his career already, and none of these guys that he fought hits like Conor, especially a 190-pound Conor. The biggest guy Volk has fought in many years, ever since he fought in the welterweight division. So he can only imagine that Conor is probably going to be harder to take down than he anticipates. And that's the thing he can't do in this one like he did in the Islam fight, underestimate certain parts of his opponent's skills, because Conor has shown routinely throughout his career, he's progressively getting better with his takedown defense. With the added weight on top of him, the strength he's going to possess at that weight, things could get actually pretty dicey for Volkanovski, and I'm more thinking about it. I'm honestly seeing more chances for Conor McGregor to hurt Volkanovski in that fight. And Volk's orthodox style, where he likes to throw out that right overhand, is tailor-made for Conor McGregor. He has to mix up a lot more with the jabs, with the outside leg kicks, which is going to come from Volkanovski's lead leg, and he has to mix it up with takedowns. Simply shooting from a distance is not going to work against Conor. Conor's gotten so much better where that just doesn't work on him anymore. Chad Mendes was able to do it, and Khabib slightly got away with it in that first round, but he really struggled to take Conor to the ground. And we're talking about Khabib, one of the best takedown artists in UFC history. Volkanovski's gonna have to do a lot more than just that. And the thing about Volkanovski's jab is he's never fought an opponent that traps your lead hand the way Conor does. When Conor's fighting an orthodox fighter, he's constantly trapping your lead hand, eliminating it from being used, which is gonna make it a lot harder for Volk to throw out the jab. And this will most likely force Volk to fake the right hand so he can lunge with his left around the side. Actually, interesting enough, a lot of things about Volkanovski is something that Conor McGregor could take advantage of. And in fact, he's done it throughout his entire career. Reaching in there with the right hand is opening himself up to get caught on his side from Conor McGregor's left hand. Also, what you see often from Volkanovski that he threw against many of his opponents that are usually taller than him, he likes to reach in with the right, faking it, and then lunging in with the left hand. Who did that against Conor and got knocked out for it? Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo did the same thing, faked the right hand, and came in lunging with the left, got knocked out by Conor's left. They're also both in the orthodox stance as well, about the same height and same reach. Volkanovski also doesn't do too well with guarding head kicks as he blocks it with one hand. Islam Makhachev, not the biggest kicker in the world, but he was throwing up head kicks at Volk and almost catching him with those. Conor knocked out Donald Cerrone with a flush head kick, and he's looking to knock out Michael Chandler with one of those too. Even with all the advantages that Conor could have against Volkanovski's style, I think ultimately at the end of the day, Volk is probably going to win this fight. And I ultimately think that the cardio that Volk is going to bring into the fight and a bit of toughness, because he is going to get touched up a bit, is going to win him that fight in the long run. Conor's big size is going to be powerful enough to knock out Volkanovski in any given round. First, second round is going to be dicey for Volk, but I think the longer it goes, Volk is just going to tear Conor McGregor apart, where Conor's going to start getting tired. He has too much mass, too much muscle. Those muscles need a lot of oxygen, and Volk's going to restrict all of that once he gets Conor to the ground in the third and fourth and fifth rounds. If Conor comes back correct, it's actually a tougher fight than people believe. I don't think this is a one-sided beatdown for Volkanovski, as long as Conor McGregor comes back in good form. But I would favor Alexander Volkanovski. I hope we do see the fight next year, because most likely Conor's going to fight the end of this year, and we know that Volk will wait out if that fight is promised to him. And even though Volk said that he's not going to wait out for like an Islam rematch or something, I'm pretty sure he'll wait out for a Conor McGregor fight. Everybody would. And leave the comments below, what do you guys think? How do you see a Volkanovski and Conor McGregor fight going down? Do you actually want to see this happen? And who do you think would win that fight? And I'll see you guys in the next video.